So I would like to start with, okay, so I would like to start with a fact. And the fact is that children are increasing online. So they are consuming content, they are creating content, they are sharing content. And actually the regulator for UK, Ofcom, the regulates communication and media, released recently a report saying that 42% of children between 5 and 12 are using social media. So they are online. This is a fact that we can assume. Parents are increasingly, because of that, parents are increasingly concerned. So somebody is moving my slides. So parents are increasingly concerned, and for different reasons, of course. So for example, because they are exposed, so children are exposed to content that is not appropriate for the age. They might radicalize children, they might provide indecent content, or it might provide content that is encouraging, for example, children for self-harm. And apart from that, parents are concerned about data that the children are sharing and the contact with strangers, so many risks derive from it. Therefore, cybersecurity education is it's something that is crucial for us to get the grips of. So children have to understand the implications of the use of the online resources and be prepared with skills that allow them to be safe online. So we looked at 4 developed countries and looked at how they embed cybersecurity education in pre-university schools and colleges. And this was a project that was funded by somebody's moving my slides, I don't know. So this was funded by the Global Forum of Cyber Expertise based in the Netherlands. So this project, we did a desk research for this project, and we looked at how they embed cybersecurity, as I said. So the majority of countries embedded within computing or ICT or computer science. We are going to look at this, but there is a range of ways that this is actually undertaken, the cybersecurity education for children. And the cybersecurity education may take different, may be labeled in different ways. So it may be regarded as online safety, it may be regarded in terms of digital skills, digital literacy, and a number of labels for cybersecurity content to be conveyed. So these are the 4 countries that we looked at. So the 4 countries that are part of the UK, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland, they have a similar structure for school for schools in terms of grades and how they structure the education before 18, up to 18. So it's starting from the age of 5. The other 5 countries that we looked at are United States, Australia, Canada, Singapore, and New Zealand. They take very much the K-12 approach, so kindergarten to grade 12 approach for the structure of education, pre-university, although there are some differences, as you can see in that table. So if we looked at, so now I'm going to go over each of the countries quickly or briefly and see how they embed cybersecurity. Yeah. So in terms of England, there is a national curriculum that have the subject of digital literacy, or they have the strand of digital literacy that appears within the computing subject. So depending on the age group, different content is conveyed to children, starting from the age of the bound of 4 years old, so 4 to 7. So it goes from the use of technology in a safe and respectful way up to the next group or age group, which adds the responsibly aspect of using online services and resources. And then the last age group up to 14, the concepts of identity, privacy, and all that comes into play. If we looked at Wales, Wales has a national curriculum and has an ICT subject within the national curriculum. However, cybersecurity is not embedded, is not part of the curriculum. What Wales does is that they have a side of it, they have a digital competence framework, and this competence framework has a strand on citizenship. And this is where cybersecurity content comes into play. However, this is a guide, so it is a guidance for teachers. So it's not mandatory that this content is conveyed to children. Wales have content related to, for example, identity, reputation, and the implications of this online, digital rights, online behavior, and cyberbullying. If we move now to Scotland, so Scotland has a curriculum for excellence, what they call curriculum for excellence, and within it, there is content related to cyber resilience and internet safety. And within it, there is digital literacy that appears under the subject of ICT or technologies. So if we looked at the age groups, we see content related to using digital technology in the first age group, and then moving to how technology works and how to use technology in a safe way, secure way, then moving to responsibility, the aspect of responsibility about digital behavior, and then consequences or bad consequences or risks related to the use of online resources. So moving on to Northern Ireland. So Northern Ireland has a national curriculum, but they take a different approach. So their approach is across any subjects to use what they called using ICT. So the use of ICT embedded in different subjects, not only ICT, but other subjects. So, and then this stretches over acceptable online behavior and online safety, where they talk about types of risks that children might be exposed, that they have to understand and realize, for example, related to the content, risk related to content, to contact, to conduct, and commercial risks. So if we kind of put that together, the 4 countries part of UK, so we see that Scotland is the one that starts conveying content at an earlier stage. and the other ones have kind of very similar kind of age distribution in terms of cybersecurity content, except Wales, which don't have mandatory content related to online safety, cybersecurity, or anything like this. So England takes the content added to computing, Wales adds it to citizenship, Scotland adds it to ICT, and Northern Ireland take the approach of cross-curriculum skills building for cybersecurity. So moving on to the other countries that we looked at the United States. So United States is a federated state, so there is no national curriculum per se. So they have what they call K-12 computer science framework, which should inform the states on how to develop their own curriculum. They have core concepts, and cybersecurity is embedded into two of these concepts. So cybersecurity is embedded in networks and internet, and safety law and ethics is embedded within impacts of computing. So if we look at their content in terms of age group, we see that they take a much more computer science technical approach, but also the more soft safety, online safety approach. So they look at authentication measures, they look at harmful content, security measures, and going up to the level of what is encryption, what is access control, network security, and all that. Australia has a national curriculum, and the national curriculum has what they call online safety curriculum connection. So this is to help teachers to identify which are the subjects where content related to cybersecurity and online safety can be added within the classrooms and activities. The curriculum is under review, and the idea of Australia is to actually start introducing cybersecurity for children aged as young as 4. So if we look at the content in terms of age groups, it's kind of incremental building of content related to cybersecurity. So starting from rights and responsibilities and safe use, and then adding that respectful relationships, digital media literacy, and for the last age group, adding well-being. So what is interesting to point out here is that Australia takes the approach of cybersecurity and online safety added to different contents. So, for example, art, English, digital, physical education, etc., etc. So it's added to different subjects. If we look at Canada, they have what is called, there is no national curriculum for ICT or computing. They have what is called a pan-Canadian K-12 computer science education framework. And this, again, like the United States, this is to inform the different provinces in terms of developing their own curriculum or cybersecurity curriculum and embedding cybersecurity education within it. So they have, again, these 5 core focus areas, and cybersecurity is embedded in computing and networks, and ethics, safety, and law is embedded within technology and society. So I'm not going to go over this, but it starts from kindergarten, and where they start introducing the concept of password, for example, and then and the concepts of protecting data, identity online, etc., and they build on the content across the age groups. If we look at Singapore, So Singapore has a very different approach. They have a character and citizenship education curriculum that is compulsory for primary and secondary schools. So their approach is to embed that within the age groups of between 9 and 17, and it's very much tailored to well-being, online well-being, what they call cyber wellness. So kind of managing harms and online behavior and bullying, abuses, etc. If we move on to New Zealand, New Zealand has a technology area, so ICT kind of a subject where they have different technology areas, and that this is incorporated into their curriculum for preschool children. So they have one technology, which is the designing and developing digital outcomes, and this is where cybersecurity is somehow embedded. So it's all about, designing, implementing, and testing what they call digital outcomes. So kind of start thinking about security when developing systems, when developing devices, etc. So very much a secure development approach that they try to develop. So if we look at these 5 countries together, we see that in terms of age group mandatory content, US and Canada have a very similar approach in terms of mandatory content. Australia is also very similar, and New Zealand. Singapore introduces cybersecurity very later on. The US content is added to computer science, as well as the content in Canada, very similar, US and Canada. Australia takes the approach of adding cybersecurity content to different subjects, as we have seen. Singapore adds it to character and citizenship, and New Zealand to ICT. So if some of the observations about this project, this analysis of 9 countries, we have seen that federated countries have adopted these national frameworks. They don't have a national curriculum. So they try to add consistency by means of these frameworks that the states and the provinces can use to develop their own curriculum. So the majority of the countries that we have looked at across the 9 countries, they incorporate cybersecurity content either in ICT, computer science, but there are other ones that incorporated across different subjects. This is the case of Northern Ireland and Australia. So embedded cybersecurity within a range of subjects. We have also noticed different levels of coverage of cybersecurity content across these 9 countries. So we have seen a lighter approach taken by countries like Wales, Singapore, and New Zealand, and a deeper approach taken by countries like Australia, Canada, US, England, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. There are countries like Scotland, Canada, and Australia that are moving towards incorporating cybersecurity at a very young age. So for children as young as 4 and 5. So I would like to finish off. I am 1 minute, I think, above my time. Just to say a little bit about us. So we are the Institute of Cybersecurity for Society, And we are one of 19 academic centers of excellence for cybersecurity research in the UK, recognized by the National Cybersecurity Center. We have 3 provisions of cybersecurity courses, so undergrad and postgrad level, where we kind of as a cybersecurity as a specialization of computer science, but we also have MSc Cybersecurity, which is certified by the National Cybersecurity Center. We do a lot of work in terms of outreach and content that is prepared for children and parents. So that's it from me. Thank you very much.